everybody, it's your favorite Fox on Fox Tower Creations. Today we're going to show you how to take these hard-bodied plastic dolls and make them into fairies. Stay tuned. So what we're using today is Stone Coat countertop products. What I'm going to be using is their craft coat, but what I recommend using is their countertop or their quick coat. We're going to be mixing it with their thin dispersion fluid, which helps to extend the work time, but also makes it thin enough to use as a paint. The other thing we're using today is our Black Diamond Pigments. Now we've got our green apple, our fluorescent glow sunset, and a new color that they have out. I'm not 100% sure what the name is, but you'll be able to find it on their website. So the first thing we have to do is prep our doll. This one doesn't have any hair, so we don't have to worry about tying it up. Otherwise, I would use a little scrunchie and tie that up. But we need to make the marks on the back so we know where the wings are going to go. So the easiest thing to do is take a flat edge of some kind, kind of eyeball it, and mark it with a pencil where you want them to go. I normally go right between the shoulder blades, and then very gently use your drill with a small bit, or if you have a thicker wire, you want to use a larger bit, drill into the back so that you have the holes for the wings. And there we have our holes. They're not exactly even, but that won't matter later on. So since we're using such a small amount, because this is a very tiny mold, it's 1 part resin to 1 part hardener, and only 25% or less of the dispersion fluid. So we're going to use 1 teaspoon of each and then a 1/4 teaspoon of the dispersion. It's still going to be a little much, but it'll work. Now, as far as the idea around this, it just depends on what you feel like doing. I mean, you can put little dots, you can do all sorts of stuff. Me, I love the green in her eyes, so I found something that would kind of match that, and that's what I'm painting in here. Now, it's easier to do this first instead of trying to do it with a straight mica powder and trying to literally dust the mold, because mica powder just gets everywhere if you're not careful. And then you let it sit, and then you back pour this to actually make the wings. But this way you have a lot more control over where that goes, where the color goes. It just makes it a lot easier. Always, always, always make sure to get the resin immediately out of your brush. Do not let it sit. All right, and then here's where we can actually mix a little bit. And there we are. So these are all painted up. Now we just let it sit and cure, and then come back in a little bit and we'll backfill it with whatever color we need so that we have the right stuff. So I have a little bit of the Stone Coat Countertops Craft epoxy resin. It's thin enough, this mold is thin enough that it won't be a difference, but anything that's bigger than I think an inch, you want to use actual casting resin, okay? So we're just going to pour a little bit of this in. As you can see, I don't need much. Make sure it gets into all the crevices. And I am, just to take bubble gum, going to hit it with a heat gun. I'm going to put it on low so it doesn't mess up my mold. Now with this, I'm not too worried about the bubbles, to be honest. Mostly because I think it gives character to my wings, but that's just me. And as you can see, my table is completely not level. And we're going to let that sit and then come back later, and we're going to drill the little holes and we'll start attaching. All right, so the wings actually came out really well. I'm really happy with this. I'm hoping that the glow in the dark comes out really well. But one thing that needs to happen, and I've already started with this one, is that we do need to clean this up a little bit. Mask and goggles, and then we're good to go. We'll do a little hole right here. So now that we've cleaned the wings up, we've made all the holes that we need to make. Now it's time to actually assemble. Now, the first thing we're going to do is actually make a wire piece to slip into the back of the doll. But I wanted to go over some glues because you're going to need that. What most people will use is E6000. This stuff's amazing. However, we have access to this multi-purpose stuff that dries really, really quick as long as you have the activator. If you can get a hold of this stuff, this is amazing to use. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is try to gauge how much wire I'm actually going to need to make sure that this is secure in here. All right, so because this version of the doll is stiff-armed, she has a piece that goes right across back here. So we're not going to need a whole lot of wire. So you just kind of gently kind of tap it in, make an idea about where it'll be. That much wire is all we need for this one. So then you want to double that in length and then fold it over, cut your wire, slip it through. You want to twist it. Make sure you twist that well. Some people will use their fingers, other people will use pliers. Doesn't matter as long as it gets nice and twisted up. Double check it, make sure it's in there all right. And yeah, that's about where we want it. So at this point, you can either use the glue and fill it in and then press this in and hold it and just kind of keep it propped. For expediency, we're going to use this. You don't need much, just a little bit to secure it. Hold it for a few seconds, and there is your first wing. And there you have it. Last step, I'm gonna decorate her up a little bit, and I'll show you the finished product. Hey everybody, so she is all finished and ready to fly. When you go to your Michaels, go into the discount rack because you find beautiful things like this. A nice little glitzy sticker that I was able to cut up, make the top, make the shirt, even add a little bling to her skirt. I went into my closet, found this, did a little bit of snips, and made her skirt completely for her. So she looks really awesome. And yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you want to check out some more stuff that I'm making, sneak on over to my channel and I will catch you guys later. Bye.